So today, in the wake of these latest attacks, I'm unveiling a 5-point plan to rid our subways of people who commit crimes and to protect all New Yorkers, whether you're a commuter or a transit worker. Point 1, I'm redeploying nearly 1,000 members of the New York State Police, MTA Police, and MTA National Guard to conduct bag checks in the city's busiest transit stations. You'll start seeing them at the tables, making sure that weapons are not being brought in, working in concert with our New York State Police, as well as our NYPD. Because no one heading to their job or to visit family or to go to a doctor appointment should worry that the person sitting next to them possesses a deadly weapon.
But what is the best way to sell big government and then world government to a people like ours, historically devoted to an independent republic of limited powers? The answer is simple. In revolutionary literature, the tactic is known as pressure from above and below. It's the strategy that Colonel House laid down in his book, Philip Drew, Administrator. Deliberately create problems, and then offer only those solutions that result in the expansion of government. Create conditions so frightful at home and abroad that the abandonment of personal liberties and national sovereignty will appear as a reasonable price for a return to domestic tranquility and world peace. If those who seek world dominion can stimulate leftist mobs into violent confrontation with local law enforcement, and also provide exhaustive news coverage so that the entire nation can see and tremble, then the peaceful and freedom-loving majority can be programmed to accept a vast expansion of government powers and even a national police force, offered supposedly to end the violence. If those who seek world dominion can raise the specter of an enemy armed to the teeth with superior atomic weapons on the verge of launching a nuclear holocaust, and also offer world government as the prevention, then millions of Americans can be programmed to accept the loss of national sovereignty as our last best hope for peace. This is the meaning of pressure from above and below. To put over police state measures at home, they need chaos, crime, and anarchy in the streets. To sell the idea of world government, they need the constant threat of nuclear war. Or, as they say in revolutionary circles, the real action is in the reaction.
But first tonight, Grand Central Terminal swarming with New York State troopers and members of the National Guard. It's part of Governor Hochul's new push to battle crime on the subways. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim has details, including why the extra law enforcement is making some riders nervous.
At Grand Central Terminal tonight, during the thick of the evening rush, there was rhythm and blues in the background, drowned out by the relentless sound of the Metro card swipe. But in the foreground, there were M16s, part of the governor's 5-part plan announced today aimed at combating subway crime. 750 National Guard soldiers, 250 state troopers and MTA police,
just open your bag really quick,
and more random bag checks.
To those who are feeling anxious whenever they walk through those turnstiles, we will stop at nothing to keep you safe.
Some riders, though, not sure if it'll have the intended effect.
Wow, I didn't think it was at the point of National Guard needed.
More nervous because I feel like it's more of a threat happening versus just the police. So I don't think the National Guard would be a good idea.
Concerned, harkening back to like 9/11.
Feels like a huge overreaction and overreach.
Donna Lieberman is the executive director of the NYCLU.
Calling out the National Guard in response to some incidents is not the way to go.
The governor's plan calls for more resources for mental health outreach teams targeting the mentally ill. It also focuses on repeat offenders. Governor Hochul wants judges to be able to ban someone from the transit system for at least 3 years if they've been convicted of a violent crime.
Young people have no conception of the conspiracy strategy of pressure from above and pressure from below. They have no idea that they're playing into the hands of the establishment they claim to hate. The radicals think they're fighting the forces of the super-rich, like Rockefeller and Ford, and don't realize that it is precisely such forces which are behind their own revolution, financing it, and using it for their own purposes.
Take a look at your screen right now as more violent incidents involving migrants are happening in the New York City area. Fox's CB Cotton has been following this and joins us live from New York with the details and more of that video. CB, good morning. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Hi, Josh. Good morning. Yeah, once again, a violent encounter between NYPD officers and some of the migrants here in the city is captured on video, this time from inside a shelter on Randall's Island. It's just the latest in a series of violent encounters, again, between officers and some migrants in the city. In the scuffle, you can see some officers are clocked in the head with a backpack, water bottles, and other items while trying to make an arrest inside that shelter. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has sort of stayed more tight-lipped on this one, but he says the circumstances are under review. And yesterday, he said this is what happens when work visas are not expedited. He also called on Washington for more help. In another case, several migrant men have been charged for their alleged roles during an assault on a pair of NYPD officers in Times Square. Prosecutors say Henry Brito was at the center of that attack. He was back in court yesterday for a bail hearing after he initially posted $15,000 bail. The court is now looking into where that money came from, but the police union says bail should not even be on the table.
More and more young radicals are beginning to wake up to the fact that their entire lives have been carefully programmed by the very people who are their hate symbols. They're beginning to realize that their so-called anti-establishment outlook actually is the calculated product of the establishment press, the establishment communications media, the establishment entertainment industry, the establishment schools. Rich men's corporations publish and popularize revolutionary books and songs. Through advertising, rich men's businesses subsidize revolutionary magazines. Rich men's tax-exempt foundations pour millions of dollars into left-wing organizations. The federal establishment in Washington, through agencies like the OEO, provide weekly paychecks to thousands of hardcore revolutionaries. And so we return again to the basic question, why? Why does the establishment publicly condemn but privately support the anti-establishment movement? Former communist Jerry Kirk answers, the idea is to create a situation where the people are so frightened of the violence all around them that they will throw their hands up in the air and demand, federal government, do something. And the only choice open will be martial law. The communists, black militants, and revolutionaries will never succeed in overthrowing the government of the United States. But unless they are stopped, they will scare the American people into accepting socialism from Washington and statist rule by the insiders of the establishment. This is what it is really all about.
That's why you just want people here to vote. You want people here to vote. What the hell's wrong with this America? This is the United States of America. Yeah, that's what is this? What is this here then? Yeah, barriers for who? For who? For us? For the United States? Now you come down. You're complicit in destroying our city. You come down, you oath breaker. You gotta go to sleep at night. Hey, motherfucker. Causing its division. Come here. It's all coming to you, motherfucker. How is that bringing unity to the station?
Immigrants make America strong. Nowhere is that clear of the mighty anymore.
To prevent us from getting the permits and the passes.
My dad fought for this country. World War II. You.
And not these people should remain in Mexico.
They need to go back to their country. Get out of here. Get out.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Always, first I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Rakah, Kadash, double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect 144,000 men of the house of Israel, the true children of Israel. and to the remnant brothers and sisters who have woken up to this truth of who we are, the true children of Israel, and who the nations are. So, as you can see, breaking news, 1,000 National Guards have been deployed to New York City subways. As you can see, it's called the Hegelian Dialectic. The Hegelian Dialectic. Pressure from above, pressure from below. Problem, solution, action. Problem, solution, government. As you can see, they've got the people torn apart against each other, the left, the right, the so-called black and the so-called white, the so-called immigrant and the so-called non-immigrant. America is totally divided to the point, as we've told you before, the United States of America is circling the drain. 1,000 National Guards. So this is all a ploy to get the people then ready for the next step. As you said, martial law, more government restriction, more government decrees. You can see the hatred on these two Edomites' faces. You know, she was like, go back to your own country, she said. Get the hell out of there. She was fuming. As you heard what she said right at the end. Listen to what she says right now.
My dad fought for this country. World War II. You.
And not these people should remain in Mexico.
They need to go back to their country. Get out of here. Get out.
You see that anger? They need to go back to their own country. Get out of here. This is all the Hegelian dialectic. Pressure from above, pressure from below, and then the government comes in with the so-called solution to take away your rights, your freedom, the whole story. They're showing you exactly what they're doing. This is why they're flooding the place with the migrants. They're allowing them to come in by the millions, unchecked, so forth. And don't get it twisted, because literally the majority of, not all of those migrants are Israelites coming in from South America into North America. And I've said this before and I say it again. They're either coming for judgment or salvation. There's only two ways it's going to end for those migrants that are coming from South America to North America. Either judgment, which is destruction, or salvation, deliverance. It's as simple as that, because we know what the end result is for America. America is Babylon the Great, aka Edom, also known as Idumea, the daughter of Babylon. America's destination is to be destroyed by nuclear fire, by nuclear missiles and the chariots of the Lord and the angels. So those migrants that are coming to America, there's only two results that can happen for them: salvation or destruction, which would mean death. Simple as that. You can see the hate on these Edomites' faces, complete hate. But this is the whole stirring up. This is what they need to do. They need to create the chaos, because the only thing you can get out of chaos is order. And remember, this is all about the New World Order. Chaos, order, chaos, order. As much chaos. So now they're sending 1,000 National Guards are being deployed to New York City subways to bring back the order, so they can get used to seeing soldiers on the streets, US soldiers, but these are the actual National Guards. They're soldiers, but the National Guards on the streets. They're going to get used to the idea of them coming on the street, whether it's for short term, long term, permanent, however they do it. They're going to get Americans used to the idea of seeing US soldiers on their streets, supposedly protecting US citizens from themselves, basically. So it's beautiful. I just want to bring a couple of scriptures. Boy, but it's happening. Nothing can stop it. Couple of scriptures. I'm going to go to Psalm 64, because this is the plan of the wicked. This is what Esau is planning. All right. Psalm 64. And let me just see if I can put this in the NLT. I want to see how it plays out. Prayer for deliverance, right? Psalm 64, verse 1. O power, Yahweh, listen to my complaint. Protect my life from my enemies' threats. Hide me from the plots of the evil mob, from the gang of wrongdoers. They sharpen their tongues like swords and aim their bitter words like arrows. They shoot from ambush at the innocent, attacking suddenly and fearlessly. They encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set their traps in secret. That's exactly what they're doing. planning how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice, they asked. They got them at each other's throats. They got the American public literally at each other's throats. Left, right, Republican, Democrat, black, white, immigrant, non-immigrant, socialist, non-capitalist. They've got them where they want them. So now we're seeing the US soldiers, National Guards, are being deployed to this. And when I say the subways, it means the streets, because the subways are on the streets, right? When you enter the subways, you're entering the subway in America. In England, we call it the tube or the underground. You're entering them from the streets. So they're basically deployed to the American streets. So they say, who will ever notice, they ask. As they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. And this is what they are doing. This is what they are doing. They are devising, in their eyes, the perfect plan to get the American public used to seeing American troops on the streets before they go to their next phase, where, like I said to you, they're going to, some sort of 9/11 event's going to take place again, martial law. And then we're going to see the restrictions come to the point where we move to the final phase, which will be the mark of the beast, the microchip. Because that's where they're heading to. Remember, this is where they're heading to, the total control of their citizens. So they've devised a perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. Cunning. So what's the perfect plan? What are they looking to do? This is the perfect plan, right, for them. Revelations 13. This is the perfect plan. Believe me when I tell you. Revelations 13 and 16. This is where it's all heading. Revelations 13 and 16. We start at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That the image of the beast, which is this whole system, New World Order system that they're putting in, that they're implementing bit by bit, should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, this system, should be killed. It's as simple as that. So this is the last major part of Esau's plan before they go to war head on head with the Russians and the Americans, NATO and America. And he causes all, both small and great. This is the perfect plan that they're looking to institute, this plan here. And he causes both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, say he that has the mark, which is the microchip, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Let me just see what this said, how this pans out in the NLT. I'm just curious because I'm reading the NLT for Psalm 13. So we're talking about the perfect plan, right? It says here, it says, as they plot their crimes, and the Hegelian and the and the Hegelian dialectic is part of their perfect plans, right? As they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. 1,000 troops have been now deployed to the streets, part of their perfect plan, right? Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. The human heart and mind are cunning. So what is part of this perfect plan? It's Revelations 13 and 16. He required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark, which is the charagma in the Greek, which is the microchip, on the right hand or in the forehead. Neuralink has already put it in the forehead. People are already using a microchip to pay for goods in their hand. It's openly available in America now and around the world for you to, if you want to, you can microchip yourself and use it to pay for items. But we're waiting for it to be required, just like it says there, required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, and free and slave, to be given a mark on their right hand or in their forehead. And no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, without that microchip. This ain't talking about sin, family. You make the IUIC believe, try to convince you this is talking about a handshake, a nod, a wink, sin. What else did they say? They've also said it's how one country deals with another country in trade. and so forth. All of these mad ideas. This is an individual act that everyone's going to have to take part in, right? That they're going to require you to take part in for you to be part of this new world order society. This is the perfect plan that Esau, the Edomites, the elites, the Illuminati, the secret society have ready. This is it right here. And no one could buy or sell, not no country, no person this is talking about. This ain't talking about countries trading with each other. This ain't talking about you shaking the hand or sinning or you believing in white Jesus is your savior. This ain't talking about that. When you take the mark, you would have committed a sin. Just so you understand. Which is the punishment is death. But the mark in itself is not sin. Sin is when you transgress the law. Sin is the transgression of the law. 1 John chapter 3. Let's see if I can put it up here. Sin. Let's just quickly get up what the definition of sin is, right? Sin is the transgression of the law. 1 John chapter 3, I think 3 and 4. 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. Just so you understand. So once you've committed this act, you would have committed sin. But sin is not the mark because we sin every day. None of us are about sin. You're sinning when you're wearing clothes. When your clothes that has two different materials is made out of two different materials, that's a sin. If you're going to work on the Sabbath, that's a sin. So the Lord is there to give us grace for forgiveness of our sin because we are living in transgressions. These bodies cannot live without sin. We transgress the laws every day. We have the Lord there as our grace to forgiveness of sin, but we don't intentionally go out and transgress the laws. But we know when we do things that we do, we can't get around certain things, situations. You know, like I say, if you're going to work on the Sabbath because you can't get the day off, it's impossible for you to take that day off every month, so forth and so on, because it falls during the work day, during the week. Then the Lord is there. We can't serve the high holy days properly, so we rehearse the righteous acts. The Lord is there, so we're always sinning. When we're buying our clothes, we're sinning because they're made out of two different materials. Probably 99.9% of clothes are made out of two different materials. Whether it's the thread you're using to thread it or the material itself. So the mark in itself is not sin, but once you take it, you would have transgressed the Most High's judgments. To be given a mark, he's in a sense, his laws. To be given a mark on the right hand or the forehead, and no one could buy or sell without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. 666, Kai stigma. Wisdom is needed here, family. Truly. Let the one with understanding, if you have understanding, you will truly know that the mark is the microchip. Solve the meaning of the number of the beast. For it is a number of a man, his number is 666. So when we go into that number, we know the word mark means karagma, karux. All right. When we know the word mark means karagma, karux. This is what it's going to. This is what I said. They're getting you used to these troops, mate. They're getting you ready. These devils are getting you ready. This is the word mark. We know this for a fact.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
A stamp
Charagma.
or imprinted mark. All right. If you go to the root of it, karux.
Strong's G 5482. Charux. Charux.
A pale or a stake, a palisade. Palisade is what they use to make fences. So the epidermic needle looks like a palisade. That's what they use to inject the microchip into you. All right. It looks like a palisade. If we was to type in palisade, you will see an epidermic needle resembles the palisade. All right. It resembles a palisade. That's what it looks like. The top. It would look like this. The top of a epidermic needle, a palisade, karux. They're going to use this to stick, to imprint into you. It's the karaks, the karagma, a pal or a stake, a palisade, because they're literally gonna stake you with the, let's say, microchip needle, right? Just to show you. We're not making this shit up, family. It looks just like the palisade. Trying to get good ones that you can see. There you go. So you can see. $12G microchip needle. You see? That will be the chip inside. You see the shape of it? It looks just the same shape of the top of palisade. That's why he said it's like a palisade, a stake they're going to prick into you. John the Revelator saw this happening, mate. And remember, we go back. I wasn't even going to go here, but this is where the Spirit brought me, boy. Truly, this is what they're getting you ready. We go to the word 666. His number and his name is 666. Kai Stai Stigma. All right. Sorry. Looking at here. Hold on. All right, Kai Stai Stigma, 603 score and 6, 666, all right? Go to the root of that word, stigma.
Strong's G 4742, stigma.
I.e.
Stigma.
to prick. A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp or their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate which master they belong to. That's the chip, to stick, to prick. And this is what they're going to use. This epidermic needle here, which is the same shape as the palisade. This is the charagma that they're going to use to put. That's what they're going to use. See that baby there? That's what they're getting ready for. They're getting ready to put that into you. Showing you here again. That's it right there. So all we see going on in the streets of New York, boy. See that in there? All what we see going on in the streets of New York, soldiers, they're going to get you used to the idea. Like I said before, you're going to be screaming, government, government, save me, save me, save me. So this is the plan. We have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and the mind are cunning. But Yahweh himself will shoot them with his arrows, suddenly striking them down. Their own tongues will ruin them, and all who see them will shake their heads in scorn. Right? Then everyone will be afraid. They will proclaim the mighty acts of Yahweh and realize all the amazing things he does, because the Lord is getting ready to take this man down. But just like the scripture says, just as he's about to fill his belly, right? Job chapter 20, I believe. Just as he's about to fill his belly, Job 20, I want. Here it is here. It's in the NLT. We're just going to read it. It says there, they enjoyed the sweet taste of wickedness, letting it melt under their tongue. This is Esau, the Edomites. This is their plans of the Illuminati, secret society. They savored the holding it. They savored it, holding it long in their mouths. But suddenly the food in their bellies turned sour. So in the midst of doing all of what they're doing here, suddenly the food in their bellies turned sour, a poisonous venom in their stomach. Right? This is parabolic language, how things are going to change suddenly for these devils. They will vomit the wealth they swallowed. They're going down, but they're going to implement the last part of this plan, the microchip, the mark of the beast. Yahweh won't let them keep it down. They will suck the poison of cobras. The viper will kill them. Their own system that they're implementing is what's going to take them down. They will never again enjoy streams of olive oil or rivers of milk and honey. They're going to be the lowest of the low, these Edomites, once they're taken down. But first they must implement the last two major prophecies, the mark and the War of Armageddon, World War III, the nuclear holocaust. They will give back everything they worked for. Their wealth will bring them no joy. For they oppressed the poor and left them destitute. They foreclosed on their homes. Come on, man. You remember the great foreclosure that took place 2007, 2008 crash? They reckon the next economic crash, which we're on the precipitate of, is going to be worse than the one in 2007 and 2008. The dollar's going to crash. These are all parts of what's going to cause us to move completely into this new digital world, the microchip, this new world order, having these troops on your streets, martial law, because there's going to be so much. Oh man, I'm lost for words. There's going to be so many people disillusioned and so much upheaval, so much chaos is going to be taking place. For they oppressed the poor and left them desolate. They foreclosed on their homes. They were always greedy and never satisfied. This is Esau. This is the so-called white man. This is the elites. This is the Edomites. Starting from the elites, the bankers, the corporations, the pharmaceuticals. This is them. This is the new world order. This is the elites, super elites. This is the secret societies of Esau. From the Rothschilds to the Rockefellers to the Oppenheimers to the Morgan Stanley families. These are all of the major players. They were always greedy and never satisfied. Nothing remains of all the things they dreamed about. Nothing is left after they have finished gorging themselves. Because they are pigs, literally gorging on every resource. They're gorging on your rights. They don't want you to have any rights in this society. They're gorging on your rights, your freedom of speech. They're gorging on all the resources. They're gorging. They can't have enough. They just can't take enough. The minerals, the money, the wealth. Nothing is left after they finish gorging themselves. Therefore, their prosperity will not endure. In the midst of plenty, and this is where we're at. We're in the midst of their plenty, and then preparing the last part of their plan. They will run into trouble. And this is why they need to implement these new decrees, getting you used to seeing troops, American troops on the streets, getting you used to this new system. They're in the midst of plenty, but they are going to run into trouble and be overcome by misery. May Yahweh give them a belly full of trouble. May Yahweh rain down his anger upon them. When they try to escape, an iron weapon, intercontinental ballistic missile, a bronze tip arrow, this is talking about missiles, will pierce them. And that's going to come from where? From the Russians and their allies. So from the microchip to the war directly with Russia, from conventional to nuclear. The arrow is pulled back. The arrow is pulled from their back, and the arrowhead glistens with blood. The terrors of death are upon them. Their treasures will be thrown into the deepest darkness. A wildfire will devour their goods. What wildfire is that? That's going to be the fire and brimstone, the nuclear destruction of America, Babylon the Great. America will go to war against Russia. It will escalate from a conventional war to a nuclear war. America will eventually become a wildfire that will devour their goods, consuming all that is left. Everything's going to be consumed. In the midst of that destruction, the Lord himself, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, will appear in the heavens with the angels in their chariots, which they refer to as UFOs and UAPs, to deliver the remnant of the children of Israel from Babylon the Great, the United States of America, to deliver them from the wildfire that's going to devour the goods and consume all that they have left. Revelations 18 tells you that. The heavens will reveal their guilt, and the earth will testify against them. A flood will sweep away their houses. Yahweh's anger will descend on them in torments. This is the reward that Yahweh gives the wicked. Who are the wicked? The Edomites, today who we refer to as the so-called white man. They are the wicked. Now, are all white people Edomites? No, because some of those white people will go back to the Israelites and to the other nations. But on a whole, this is talking about the so-called white man because they are the wicked. That's unquestionable. Which nation of people on this planet Earth would you consider the wicked? We know who they are through scripture. This is the reward that Yahweh gives the wicked. It is the inheritance decreed by Yahweh. This is decreed by the Most High that this is going to take place. So, breaking news, 1,000 National Guards deployed to New York City subway. It is the Hegelian Dialectic. They are preparing you for what's coming next. They are preparing you for what's coming next. The Hegelian dialect, pressure from above, pressure from below. Pray you are edified. Praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Basham, Rakak, Kodash. As I always like to say, keep praying, keep safe, repent, and hold on to this truth. Hold on to it, family. Shalom, shalom, shalom.